Recently, I was trying to find an accepted list of each character's preferred stages, and I couldn't find one, or at least one that was accepted by the community. So I decided I would make my own. Now, these opinions are generally not mine. I went to every single character Discord, searched up best stage in the search bar, and tried to look for at least 10 or so responses for each character, just to get a general idea. I also tried to look for top players' opinions when I could, and then weighed their opinion a little bit more. Now keep in mind that different playstyles, matchups, level of play, and generally how comfortable you feel on a certain stage are all huge factors in this. So, for example, while maybe your character's best stage is Battlefield, if you're playing against a character like Mario, they might get more benefit from the stage than you do, so you'll probably want to avoid that. Or maybe your character's good with platforms, but you're used to Final Destination and it's just a comfort pick for you, then feel free to go there. And also keep in mind for about a third or so of the characters, their best stage is generally their opponent's worst stage. So this means that the character is decently well-rounded and can find benefits on just about any stage, so at that point focus on what the opponent doesn't like. But in general, the stages mentioned are going to be the ones that you'll try and avoid or consider banning or striking. And don't take these as law, there are tons of different opinions, so most characters don't just have one stage that everyone agrees is best. I'll also give a brief description on why they like the stages, and while I can't cover everything in a sentence or two, it should give you a general idea of why a character likes a stage. I'm focusing on these stages since they're pretty much legal everywhere, and I'm avoiding Yoshi's Island even though it is legal in a lot of places, mostly because I didn't want there to be biases from people who didn't consider it when saying their best stage. I'm also going to give a summary at the end on what playstyles work best with what stage, so you'll be able to get a general idea of each character without having to memorize every single one. So here we go. Mario loves Yoshi's story in Battlefield because the triplats allow him to up air juggle and kill off the top much easier. For Donkey Kong, Pokemon Stadium 2 is generally the go-to because of DKO being able to cancel the end lag from the cargo up throw by landing on the platform, leading to some very early kills from a grab. Yoshi's story also isn't too bad. For Link, there's no general consensus. Some like Final Destination, some like Town and City, some like Smashville, it really just depends. Link's best stage is usually his opponent's worst. For Samus and Dark Samus, there's no clear favorite here. Platforms can help, but Samus also likes having space, and she generally just wants to avoid Lilat. Yoshi is pretty well-rounded. Generally, Yoshi focuses on what their opponent doesn't like. Triplats aren't bad for juggling and landing some early kills, though. Kirby likes Final Destination and Smashville, as he is prone to getting camped on just about any other stage. Battlefield-height platforms mess with his forward throw, and most characters get better use out of platform than Kirby does. Fox has no real good or bad stages, he can find usage on just about any stage. Platforms can help Link up airs, but other characters might benefit more out of them, so focus on your opponent's bad stages too. Pikachu finds benefits on every stage, but Kalos seems to be the favorite. Platforms and walls can help with Thunder Jolts and allow him to be offensive, defensive, and really just control the pace of the match. The platforms can also help Pikachu to edgeguard. Luigi likes Smashville as it helps him find grabs and sometimes get early kills off the side, and it doesn't give his opponent much room to run away. He's okay with any stage though, it's mostly dependent on your opponent. Ness is fine on any stage besides Lilat and should focus on his opponent's bad stages. Captain Falcon likes Battlefield, Yoshi's Story, and Kalos, as they're nice for extending combos and juggling his opponent. Battlefield is generally Puff's best stage, with Yoshi's Story and Smashville also being good. The platforms can help with tech chase scenarios, which Puff loves, but Puff can do fine on any stage. Don't go to Battlefield though if your opponent will benefit more from it. Kalos is seen as Peach and Daisy's best stage, with Smashville and Final Destination also being nice. The flat stages help with their combos, and the Kalos layout is great for edgeguarding and for covering. Bowser doesn't really have a best or worst stage, it mostly depends on the opponent. Platforms can help land some early side B kills though. For Ice Climbers, Battlefield, Smashville, and Final Destination are all pretty good. Nana does have some problems on Town and City and Kalos, so they generally avoid those stages. Outside of that, everything is okay. For Sheik, Kalos and Final Destination are generally seen as the best as they assist with needle camping, and the Kalos platforms can lead to edgeguards and kills, but opinions vary on this one. Smashville can also be nice as well as the platform extends combos. Zelda has a few stages she likes, like Final Destination, Smashville, and Battlefield. The smaller stages can help things like Phantom extending most of the stage, but Zelda's mostly focused on avoiding a big stage like Town and City. For Dr. Mario, Final Destination and Pokemon Stadium 2 can help land pill combos, as the platforms can sometimes get in the way of that. Unlike Mario, he doesn't really like Battlefield since he's more prone to getting camped and doesn't get the same up air juggles that Mario does. Pichu is similar to Pikachu as he loves Kalos because the walls help and the layout lets Pichu control the pace of the match. But Pichu also likes to play on stages like Final Destination and Town and City. For Falco, Battlefield and Yoshi's Story are super nice and allow for great combo extensions. You can instant double jump to the middle platform, and Falco can kill off the top a little bit earlier on Yoshi's. Town and City and Smashville are also pretty nice. For Martha and Lucina, Battlefield is generally the favorite, followed by Smashville. The top platform allows for safe for up Bs, and most of the platforms are covered with the tilts, making it hard for your opponent to land. Smashville's close side blast zones allow for early kills with moves like Side B though. For Young Link, Pokemon Stadium 2 is generally regarded as the best, but Kalos and Town and City are also favorites, and sometimes even Lilac. Young Link loves his space to help with his setups. Ganondorf doesn't really have any best or worst stages. Smashville and Battlefield are often seen as favorites, but interestingly, Lilat isn't bad either. Being able to cover each of the platforms with up smash is often helpful, and avoiding large stages where he can get camped is really what Ganondorf wants. For Mewtwo, Town and City is great as a big stage lets Mewtwo move around and charge Shadow Ball. The blast zones allow for early kills with fair and back throw, and he generally just wants to avoid slants in general, so Town and City is a great pick. For Roaring Crom, Town and City's side blast zones help land some early kills, and they don't mind the layout. Smashville is also nice for similar reasons, and doesn't let your opponent camp as well. For Mr. Game & Watch, Yoshi's Story is arguably his best stage, but Game & Watch really just doesn't have any bad stages in general. For Meta Knight, Yoshi's Story's small blast zones as well as platforms can help land some early kills and make it slightly more favorable to Battlefield. But Kalos, Final Destination, and Smashville aren't too bad either, and he doesn't really hate any stages. For Pit and Dark Pit, there's no general consensus, it's very player and matchup dependent, although most agree that platforms generally help. Zero Suit Samus loves Tri-Plats, so Yoshi's Story and Battlefield are both amazing for juggling and killing off the top. Yoshi's Island may actually be her best stage though when it is legal. Wario likes to camp to get his waft, so stages that allow him to do that when he needs to, like Town and City, are generally pretty good, but it's mostly matchup dependent, so it will usually come down to your opponent's bad stages. For Snake, Battlefield is generally seen as his best stage, and Pokemon Stadium 2 is pretty good for him too. It might seem like Final Destination would be good for his projectiles, but it tends to make his disadvantage state even worse, and the platforms can help for things like C4, and he's able to pressure the platforms very well. Battlefield and Yoshi's Story for Ike are very good, and Pokemon Stadium 2 is also solid. They can help extend some Nair combos, some Ike mains even like Lilat, so it can be pretty matchup dependent. Pokemon Trainer is a little complicated since he's 3 characters, each getting benefits from different stages. Pokemon Stadium 2, Yoshi's Story, and Battlefield are all nice, allowing some nice combo extensions from Squirtle, and helping Ivysaur hit his opponents above him. They also help to land some slightly earlier kills with Charizard's up throw. Diddy Kong can find benefits on just about any stage. Final Destination, Town and City, and Kalos are good since it makes it easier to get a banana out in neutral. And any stage where Diddy can do his patent pyramid scheme can be helpful. Lucas doesn't have a stage that he loves, but is generally fine with most stages like Final Destination and Battlefield, and even Lilat. He specifically doesn't like Smashville as it doesn't really give him enough room to breathe. For Sonic, Town and City and Kalos are seen as the best stages, as these long stages help Sonic to run away when he needs to, and the layout of Kalos can help Sonic edgeguard and mix up his recovery. Most DDDs think Lilat is his best stage. He doesn't mind recovering there, he's able to shark easily, dash attack is better for 2-framing, and he has some unescapable Gordo traps. He doesn't really love Tri-Plats and doesn't really care about stages too much after that. Most Alomars like flat stages like Final Destination and Kalos, but it seems to be decently matchup dependent. Lucario likes playing on Kalos as the walls can help him recover and wall jump, and the platforms can help combos and help get him off the ledge. He specifically doesn't like Smashville, but outside of that, everything else is fine. Rob has no bad stages, and it generally comes down to the opponents and Rob's personal playstyle, as many top Robs have varied success on different stages. For Toon Link, Town and City and Battlefield are generally favorites as they allow for circle camping and he can set up much easier, but Toon Link is pretty adaptive and can find benefits on just about any stage. Wolf finds benefits from every stage. He likes platforms since he can punish opponents that are above him, but generally his best is his opponent's worst. For Villager, Kalos, Battlefield, and Yoshi's are all solid picks. The Triplats help with circle camping, and the Battlefield Blast Zone helps Villager to live longer. The platforms on Kalos can help Villager land some sniped kills with Slingshot. Mega Man has no real good or bad stages, he can do fine anywhere, it mostly comes down to player preference. Kalos is often seen as Wii Fit's best stage. The platforms don't hinder Soccer Ball like other platforms do, and can actually help with camping while the walls help Wii Fit to recover. For Rosalina and Luma, Battlefield, Town and City, Kalos are all nice since they're bigger stages and Luma doesn't die as early. Platforms can help with up air juggles though. Final Destination is obviously good for Little Mac as he hates getting camped, but many Mac mains believe that Battlefield is actually his best since he's able to use the platform surprisingly well. He actually has decent ways of pressuring on the top platform and can get to the top platform with a double jump, and he can shark the other platforms with up smash and side B. For Greninja, Final Destination, Kalos, and Town and City all give him room to zone out his opponent, and he generally likes these larger stages, but he can work with any stage. Pokemon Stadium 2 and Battlefield are viewed as the best stages as they allow her to easily cancel her up B onto the platforms. Every other stage is generally okay except for Final Destination, which Palutena generally tries to avoid. For Pac-Man, Final Destination, Town and City, and Kalos are all good. The wide stages can help Pac-Man have room to run around and set up. In general, the triplat layout messes with some of his game plans, so he'll try and avoid to go there. For Robin, there's no general consensus, generally whatever is bad for the opponent and whatever the Robin player feels comfortable with. Wider stages allow them to set up and charge more, and platforms don't really hurt either. Shulk is very matchup dependent, but Final Destination is generally seen as pretty good since it can help him land, as well as Town and City. For Bowser Jr., Town and City and Kalos give him more space. There's nothing too favorable outside of that, he generally will want to avoid Lilat though. Duck Hunt loves Final Destination, Town and City, and Kalos. The long stages help with stage control and make it hard for the opponent to get in. Ryu and Ken like Smashville, Final Destination, and Lilat. They're small stages and they can't really get camped there. They like being up close with their opponent, but Battlefield can be nice in some matchups. They mostly want to focus on banning Town and City. Most Cloud mains think he can do fine on any stage and should focus on the opponent's worst stage, but I have seen a few stages like Pokemon Stadium 2, Battlefield, and Yoshi's Story all get thrown out as his best overall. Corrin likes small blast zones to kill early, so Yoshi's Story is usually viewed as their best stage. The platforms can help juggles, and the walls help to use pin and recover easier. Bayo also loves smaller blast zones to land her kills early, so Yoshi's Story and Town City are great for that. You can also wall jump on Yoshi, so that makes it even better for her. Smashville and Pokemon Stadium 2 are generally viewed as Inkling's best stages. Platforms can help extend up throw combos, and Smashville covers a huge portion of the stage, leading to some great combos. For Ridley, Town and City, Pokemon Stadium 2, Kalos, and Final Destination were all thrown out as Ridley's best stages. Ridley likes a little bit of room and flat open area. But Smashville is also great for planking, so it can come down to playstyle. Lilat being Simon Richter's best stage almost seems to be a meme in the Belmont Discord, and it does seem that he gets a lot from it. The ledges don't really mess with his recovery, the layout makes it so projectiles take up a huge portion of the stage, and while it may seem like holy water gets messed with, if you stand at the right spot, you're okay. Everything else is a good stage other than Yoshi's and Kalos. For King K. Rool, Town and City and Pokemon Stadium 2 are both pretty good stages. The large space on them gives him room to zone and move around, but it's incredibly matchup dependent, and many King K. Rool mains have their personal favorites. For Isabel, generally Battlefield is viewed as the best stage, but Kalos and Town and City are also nice, and some prefer those. Having the space to camp and set up Lloyd Rockets are nice, and any type of slant will mess with that. Incineroar has very high base knockback on a lot of his moves, so smaller blast zones help land some early kills. So Town and City and Smashville are both pretty solid picks, but Incineroar can play fine just about anywhere. For Piranha Plant, Lilat, Kalos, Pokemon Stadium 2, and Final Destination are generally good stages, but it's pretty matchup dependent and really comes down to personal preference in the opponent. Pokemon Stadium 2 and Smashville are both great stages for Joker, as the platforms give him some nice kill confirms, but Joker really can get a lot on any stage that isn't named Lilat. For Hero, Town and City is often viewed as the best stage, as the platforms can help camp to recharge meter or charge up Frizz. Kalos is pretty similar, and the layout can help give you an extra option to recover to if you don't get to zoom. Banjo and Kazooie like Town and City since it gives them room to play with their projectiles, and for the same reason they also like stages like Pokemon Stadium 2, but it can be very matchup dependent and sometimes stages like Smashville will be preferred. Terry can do well on any stage, but Town and City seems to be a favorite. He has a lot of room to play keep away, it can help with landing, but if the opponent has the ability to camp Terry, he'll usually want to avoid Town. For Byleth, Battlefield, Yoshi's Story, and Smashville are all good picks, and Byleth generally enjoys the platforms for juggling. Final Destination and Kalos are usually viewed as the worst stages. The customizability of the Miis affect how they play on stages. For Mii Brawler though, he can sort of abuse Battlefield and Yoshi's Story's platforms for juggling, similar to Mario, so those can be nice, but he doesn't really hate any stages. Mii Sword Fighter likes Smashville and Battlefield, but every stage seems fine. Some think Lylat is actually the best stage because the tornado gets benefits from it, but again, the moveset and playstyle can be wildly different. Mii Gunner probably has the most variability between movesets and how it affects their stages. Generally, triplats aren't too beneficial, and Mii Gunner likes the more flat stages like Kalos, Pokemon Stadium 2, and Final Destination. Now for summaries of each stage. Battlefield is loved by characters who like to juggle and circle camp and can use the platforms to extend their combos. Yoshi's Story is similar to Battlefield, but it's slightly more liked by characters who like to kill off the top and aren't bothered by the slants on the stage. Town and City is for characters who like to camp and set up when they need to, but also don't mind a flat stage every now and then. It is also loved by characters that are looking to land some early kills. If you can get benefits from both of these aspects, then even better. Not many characters love Final Destination, most are just okay with it. The ones who prefer it are the ones that actually get hindered by platforms or find very little benefits from them. Oftentimes people go there to prevent their opponent from benefiting from the platforms. A lot of characters hate Lylat, many times people will go there because their opponent hates it more than they do. Characters that like it are the ones where their recovery isn't screwed over by the layout and maybe can find some benefits to the slants. Pokemon Stadium 2 is a very neutral pick and most characters enjoy playing there. It has a little bit for everybody, and characters that like the stage are the ones that like certain aspects of other stages but don't get a huge benefit from any of them. Smashville is sort of similar to Pokemon Stadium 2 in being that it's a neutral pick and has a little bit for everybody. But it is also a small stage, so characters that like being up close and personal with their opponent and want to avoid getting camped may want to go here. Characters that enjoy Kalos are ones that find usage out of the platforms, whether it be for camping or for edge guarding. Characters that can wall jump can get benefits from it too. So there you have it, every character's favorite stage. Hopefully you found this helpful, it took a really long time to make. And keep in mind this isn't law, and all are subject to change depending on the situation, the matchup, and so many other things. Subscribe if you want to see more, thank you to my supporters on Patreon, and thank you for watching. Peace.